Okay, it's good now. All right. So, first, welcome everyone who are joining us today. So, we're gonna have a quick info session about the CRC second phase, um, about the future independent research. As you already submitted a proposal, and we approved that. And right now, the next step will be conducting your own research. All right. So this info session and to help you to better understand, what we're gonna do, the next steps, and how you're gonna do. And we hope you have a great experience out of this. Okay.
All right, Bill, before we dive into the content, let's just do a brief introduction of ourselves. And I also see Apruva, Jasmine, and Handy also in the call. And I would also invite them to introduce themselves because they are the leader of their teams and they are the only reason why we can have this program launched. So I would like to first introduce ourselves and
Right.
then we can dive into first congratulations, right?
Yep.
Congratulations to all the people in the call. You guys proposals are amazing. We look through every one of the proposal and we are impressed by a lot of them. Really looking forward to see how you guys can turn that into a real research and how that's gonna turn out to be. All right. So my name is Jay, and I'm the co-founder at College Leap. And today I'm with Bill. Bill is another co-founder of College Leap, and he is also uh, a student, a transfer student in the. He used to be a transfer student in the social science field.
Right.
So he has graduated from UC Berkeley, and we are both transfer students from a community college to UC Berkeley.
Right.
Right. So, Jasmine, do you have any words to say?
Hi guys. My name is Jasmine. I'm from Edmonds College in Washington State. I'm the event planner of CRC. Many of you guys know me from the webinars of CRC already. And yeah, and thank you so much for joining and congrats on passing the first round. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Handy, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, hey everyone. My name is Handy. I'm from the Enza College and I'm the marketing lead for this CRC. I don't have much to say except big congratulations to all of you for passing the first round. We had a very competitive first round, and yeah, congratulations for moving on to the second round.
Perfect. Perfect. Approval, do you have anything you want to say to the group?
Yeah, hi, my name is Purva. I'm from Irvine Valley College. I'm the research lead here. And just as Jasmine and Handy said, congratulations to all of you for making it into the second round. And thank you for being here.
That's great. Yeah. So, Jasmine, so for today's agenda, we'll have some of the mentors joining us at the second half. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so for today's info session, Bill will go over some of the uh, things for the second round. So basically, he'll tell you what you need to do and what we expect to see in your deliverables for the second round. And then we will have around 10 to 15 minutes left for our mentors to join us. So some of you guys may have already know that we try to match a team with an experienced researcher at UC Berkeley to help you conduct the research. Right? So a lot of them have already signed up to mentor a team, and then for the team who do not have a mentor signed up right now, so first we will try to encourage the mentors to sign up. If that's not the case, then you will always have Bill as your mentor.
Right.
All right. All right. So
All right.
Bill will have mentor two teams. Right. So I just got a message from Jasmine saying that
Okay.
all teams have been assigned a mentor. So a mentor will work with one or two teams. Okay, so based on his or her availability, and then we will send you to the breakout room with your mentor, and then that where you can exchange your contact information and sort of get to know each other, right? And Bill will mentor two teams.
All right.
All right, Bill, take it from there.
All right, so let me introduce myself a little bit first. So Jay always did mention a little bit about me. So my name is Bill. I was a transfer student at UC Berkeley from Berkeley City College, and my major was at UC Berkeley was interdisciplinary study. So for that major is a research-based major. So with that being said, I was required to finish about four, you know, in order to graduate, all students in that major need to submit a 40 pages senior thesis. So I did my independent work, so independent research, I in my senior year, and also I was a research assistant at UC Berkeley. So I would say I have a entry level of research skills and experience. So I believe I could capable for being a mentor for this project. So let's just start it. All right. So today I will cover two components in the second phase of CRC. So the first is about the presentation. And in the presentation part, in this part, I will cover 5 sessions from the background and steps, key findings, takeaways, and also help you to do it about the Zoom recording. So because you need to submit a recording of the presentation to us rather than to a live presentation. And then lastly, I will also go over the abstract. So abstract is another component you're gonna submit to us. So it's like a written work, and the presentation is like a verbal um, work, verbal component. So let's just get started. So first thing first about the presentation recording. So you need to tell us the background. So the background includes both um, personal background and also research background. And the ideally, you need to cover in this session. You need to spend 30 seconds or 60 seconds. So don't want to go spend a lot of time on this because the entire presentation is limited to I believe it's 5 to 8 minutes. So you want to make your time manageable. All right. So in the team background, it could be really simple and straightforward. Just tell us about your name, your school, and the major, and also the role in this project. So if you are doing the literature review of in your team, you can say, you can include that. If the person who is doing the presentation, he can also mention that as well. And finally, if we have advisors from the college, from your college. You can also include the advisor's information. Just like a one sentence would be fine. Just give us a general idea of the team. Who are the people and what do they do, and that would be it. So I understand some teams they are like one person team. Um, so in this case, you can just include like start up with a self introduction. So and also you just mentioned, okay, I work this independently with all procedures in this research. So from the proposal, from the presentation, from the abstract, I do it by my own. So and that'll be good enough. And here's the example. So since it's a presentation, you can have a deck ready, to present as you go. So we can have some, picture of the teammates and advisor, and just use one sentence to kind of introduce them. And this part, yeah, Jay, like to.
Yeah, just one thing. So for the advisor, you are not required to have an advisor from your college, right? So if you do not have advisor, that's okay. Don't mention it. But also mention your like mentor's name because we want to give them that credit as well, right? So if
Right,
you work with Bill, mentioning Bill is your mentor from CRC in this
right,
slide.
right. Yeah. So yeah, the advisors or mentors, yeah, you should include that as well. Um, and make sure you spend around 30 seconds, you don't want to spend a lot of time because you're gonna save a lot of some space for the other, like the research, right? And in this background part, you also spend another 30 seconds to kind of talk about their proposal just submitted, right? So just ideally just share a snapshot of the proposal, and then briefly go over the entire proposal, like present us the main idea. So like what's the research question, I guess that's is the most important one. And what's the anticipated results. We have, I believe, for the proposal you all done with the background, objectives, methods, anticipated results, significance, and all that. So in this part, we'd like you to summarize each session by using one sentence or two, if you like to. And just like example in here, like like a really short and summary that basically summarize all information that you have in the proposal. So, and also for this part, just 30 seconds, and the idea behind this, just give people, the readers, a general idea of their research. Okay. And that was for the first part, the background. And right now I'm gonna talk about the research process. So in this part, you need to spend 2 or 3 minutes to describe the steps that your team have taken to solve or answer the research question. So all research, you're working on have one research question, and all things related should be related to that question. And also, you need to explain why your team choose these steps, right? I will cover this briefly. So, in a typical research, you have 8 steps in total. The first, you need to identify the issues of either existing issues or potential issues, right? And then you need to review the literature. You need to see what's going on, what's being out there and what's missing there. So you can have, and then you can develop your research question, right? You can set up a research question objective and maybe form a hypothesis. And later you need to design, since you already have your research question to go, you need to design your research. So the fourth step, which is methodology. So what kind of approach you're gonna take and approach it to collect data. And then the next step is the sample group. So it could be people, it could be things, it could be but research should be objective, right? You have something to research on. So, and that is for the sample group. And then when you have the research question in your hand, you have the way to get data, and you have the people who things you like to research on. You can start collecting the data. And once you collect all the data, and you can analyze them. And once you analyze them, you want to write all steps into one report, which is the final step, writing a report. So in the typical research, that would be the 8 steps that people usually would take. So, and again, in this CRC project, we're not required you to take all steps because, in the typical research, you need to spend 15 pages or 20 pages to write a good research, right? And in this case, we're not required you to do a really long research essay, but rather just like 8 or 5 minutes presentation. So in your presentation, what you need to do is to describe 4 steps. Mainly those 4 steps are really important. So that's why I would like to include that in your presentation. So step 2, the literature. So what kind of literature you are using, and step 4, methodology. So what kind of methodology you're gonna use on your research, and step 5, what's the sample group, right? Tell us the audience, tell us the target group, and the last one, so the data analyze. So what approach did you take? So the idea before the step 7 is to tell us your thinking process. You have data, you have things going on, you have all stuff set up to go, but the most important thing is how do you analyze this data, okay? Because different people who, same group of data, but different people could view this differently. So this step is really crucial, it's really important. And that's why we like include that this step to the presentation. And I will give examples because I know for and many of you this is really new. So I like to use example to kind of illustrate. So for the step 2, literature. Let's say you are doing a child internet use during COVID-19. You know, you're interested in this topic. So let's say, for example, so in this case, for the step 2, keep in mind these are examples. Okay, so you can go longer, you can go shorter, or you can choose different topic. I just use this example to help you better understand this topic. All right. So in the step 2 literature part, so you can say we use this specific work. You can insert name or book, whatever the author name of how does family communication influence child internet use. And this sentence tell us what, you use this type of this literature. Okay, we know that. And then you're gonna explain why did you use this literature, because the COVID-19 has increased this kind of communication, maybe because the shelter in place order, maybe because of online schooling, people or children, parents, they're staying in the same house, they don't go out. So the family communication is increasing. And therefore, you can interpret the child internet use during the COVID. And that explain, give us reason why did you choose this kind of literature. All right. And for step 4, methodology. So this could be really simple and straightforward. You just tell us what. So typically we have 2 methodologies in the research field. One is qualitative and one is quantitative. So example in here, we use qualitative method and in-depth interviews with parents, also child internet use topic, because they help us to better understand opinions from parents' view and also make the entire data more legit and trackable. Because when you're gonna discover child internet use, it's really hard to interview with kids, because kids, at some point they are not likely to answer your question well. So asking parents, just example again, asking parents could be make the entire data more legit and make things more trackable. So you can ask follow up questions with parents. You can ask parents to share some of the stories. You can ask parents, okay, based on your observation, so where's the daily internet use for your kids, right? And that sort of covers for the methodology. And step 5 is the data sample. So let's say again you're doing the child internet use, and what area, what age you're gonna cover on. So example here, you can say we target children from age 6 to 18 in the Bay Area. You don't have to include place, but it would be good if you had, so it would be more specific. So we know what kind of sample, what kind of group you are researching on. Okay, we understand your research, children from 6 to 18 in the Bay Area, specifically California. And you gotta tell us why. Because most children in this range of age, they have ability to get internet, right? Because you can assume that people, children, like in the kindergarten, they don't have like iPhone, or they don't have smartphone, they don't have laptop, they don't have like internet access. But for kids like in the middle school or high school, they are likely to have smartphones, so they have more time. They could have, they can go on the internet, they can use social media or online, courses and all that, just like example. So we can put a source in here. So a source of data shows that, in children in this age, they are more likely have internet. All right. And then the Bay Area, the place also have one of the highest internet coverage in the United States. Again, you could also insert a source to tell us why you choose this specific group or specific place. All right. And finally, about data analyze. So in this step, again, the idea behind this, because we want to know your thinking process behind this, right? So in this example, we can say we analyze our data by comparing existing data from another source. It could be a literature work from another scholar or existing database from the government, maybe any source. You can also you don't have to compare a source. You can have okay we analyze from what perspective, right? So we analyze this set of data from a student perspective, a parent perspective. You could be many. Just give an example, and then that sort of concludes where you're gonna your thinking process, and later you're gonna explain why you're gonna use that thinking process. Because if you're gonna use the comparing data, and because in this case we could minimize the possible limitation and avoid wrong interpretations. So because when you compare your data to some existing and valid data, so that in this case you're likely to have more limitations, and your data in this case will be more legit. Okay, this page has a lot of information, but I hope you get idea from this. So for 4 steps, you gotta tell us why. You gotta tell first what step, what kind of literature, what kind of culture group, what kind of methodology, and what kind of thinking process. And then later you're gonna tell us why did you choose this path, and that's what we want to see in this session, in the research process. And the ideal time is 2 or 3 minutes. So time management is really important. All right, moving next, the key findings. So yeah.
The one thing to add to this, because I think what Bill showed is a very traditional and scientific approach to the
Right.
research, right? So the reason why we are called Creative Research Challenge is we want to encourage creativity from you guys in any of the steps, right? So for example, from a very scientific approach, you can only use the essays, right? You use the essays published online as your literature review source. But for us, we encourage you to be creative. You can use YouTube video. You can use whatever source that is more acceptable and can better prove your points, right? So we encourage you to think more creatively for those 4 steps, right? So method at this point, I believe you guys should have a basic understanding of what quantitative and what qualitative methods are. If you are not, please refer to our workshops or the seminars. I believe we have one for the quantitative and one for the qualitative. So from there you should have a basic understanding of this method. Anyway, what I want to point out is don't overwhelm yourself by saying like I need to do this much work.
No.
Trying to do it in the ways
Mhm.
that makes the most sense to you.
Right. So the reason I choose these 4 steps because you can take all steps in 4 or 2 or 3 any, because those are in a creative research or traditional research, they are really important component of the research. So again, this is a creative research project, so you do need to follow the traditional path. And also all information I given here, you can see here, remember they do not have to be really professional or scientific. Okay, so just bring us your creativities, and would like to see some new and creative things happening here. Okay, and the entire info session here, just advise, you don't need to follow what I said. Okay, so just give you a reference. You don't have to follow all steps I have in here. All right, so key findings. So key findings is definitely one of the most important things in the research, because that what I well you would consider it as an outcome, right? So in this session, you need to highlight up to 3 key findings based on the data that you collected, right? So the process, you have the methodology ready to go, you go to the sample group, and then you collect the data and you analyze them, right? And then you have the key findings. So the advice I would give is try to use numbers and visualize them by using peg chart or graph chart. So um, first, it's more creative. Second, it's more reader friendly, so people can just take a 1 second, they know what's going on. And lastly, you want to make sure all the key findings they are related to the research question in a sample group. So as you go, the research. So you have a lot of findings maybe. So but some of them are not related to the research question. Okay, so for example, if you're gonna go to your topic is the child internet use during the COVID-19, right? And then you found out, okay, the data, and I found another, one of the findings is, okay, people or children during the COVID-19, they are more likely have a lower academic performance, right? That is a good findings, but that is not related to the research question because your research question is about the internet use. Okay, so you want to make sure the key findings are related to the topic, to the research question. And is the example. So three findings, and sort of all of them are 70% or 74%, or only one of the four Americans and all that. They also have like graph picture in here to help you better understand um, the result, the outcomes. Okay, so you want to make take this as a template or example as you do the key founding session. Okay, all right. Okay, I think is the last part of the presentation. It's about takeaways. So why we bring this up, because remember this project, CRC project.
Wow.
Could somebody?
I think you can mute them as a.
All right, give me a sec.
I got
All right. Yeah, sorry for that. So for the key for the takeaways. So remember, this CRC project is a research-based activity. So with that being said, you don't really need to write like 10 pages research essay. You gotta follow up all the research steps, eight steps in total. No, you don't have to. The reason we have this activity, we have this project is we want to like open an entry level to all community college students in their future research journey. So just bring your creativities and just chill out, and lastly just share us, what have you learned from this activity, what have you learned from the research, and what's the idea about the research. So just share us things that you have learned from the project. It could be positive, it could be negative. Just let us know, so we can make future improvement in the future. And also you also want to include what could have been done a better work in the current project. So because when you do the presentation, it's already like a deadline, right? So you don't have time to change or do any work. So you can tell us what could have been done a better work if you have more time, and what could be improved. It could be anything related to the project. It could be the teamwork. It could be the writing abstract work. It could be the presentation. We don't have a time for the presentation because midterm, final, or anything. Just it's a really chill topic. So just like friends to friends, just conversation to let us know your takeaways. And lastly, you also want to cover if you are selected to the final round, which is happening in the month, I believe. So what actions or what things would you consider to do? So because right now we're doing the second round or second phase, right? So if we are entering the final round, so what are the improvement you're gonna do, right? You this also give us a good idea about the entire, the team motivation, the research purpose, and the personal development. You know, you know, um, I have found an example here. You can use this format, but not require. Just give an idea. So can lesson learned. We learn to do this and that, and we learn not to do this and that, and we consider to do this in the future. For the better improvement and personal development. So you can make like three different columns with few bullet points. Just let us know. Just show us, what have to learn, what are takeaways, and that will be it for this session. So pretty chill, pretty simple. Um,
Yeah, so one thing I want to add is so the difference between takeaways and key findings. Our key findings are related to
right.
our research, right? And takeaways is a place we want you to do some self-reflection. Right? So we want you to think back on the process and to really tell us what you learn and what you grow from it. Because we want this to be not only a research competition, but rather an event for you to learn and grow as an individual.
Yeah.
Right? So here is what you share with us, what you learn and grow from this event.
Yeah. So we are not, the whole idea behind this project is to help you better, get in touch with the research because when I was a community college student, I didn't have a chance to research work or research experience. I didn't have any. So we like to bring this up to all community college students so they have this opportunity to learn more about research and pursue a higher degree or future research path. All right. Yeah. So that was pretty much about the presentation. So ideally, again, you need to. So for the the first part, the background part, and the last part, takeaway. Ideally, 30 to 60 minutes, and then for the middle part, which is Jay, what to say?
Yes, 30 to 60 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
30 to 60 seconds. I'm sorry. Yeah, and for the middle part is like 2 or 3 minutes. So the entire presentation should be 5 to 8 minutes. So make sure your time is, you know, between 5 to 8. You don't want to go longer. You don't want to go shorter, and that'll be it for the presentation. And right now I'm gonna go over some technical stuff about the Zoom recording because this presentation you're not gonna do like a live presentation, but rather you're gonna record the presentation and then you're gonna send the recording to us. So we recommend to do a Zoom recording since we all use Zoom right now. So some of them might have already know about the Zoom recording stuff, but in case you don't know, so if you want to record a meeting, so first if you see the bar in the bottom part, usually you will see the record option. And then you can either record on this computer or record to the cloud. Well, in this case, I would say just record on this computer, and then you can send this file to us. Well, if you don't have enough space on a computer, you can also record it to the cloud and give us the link to the recording. So we can also we are also able to watch the presentation recording. And some of you might have trouble getting, you didn't see the record option here. So maybe it's because of the Zoom setting. So you need to go to the Zoom setting, Google Zoom.com and sign in. And then you go to the setting and make sure the local recording is turned on. So you can see here, meeting setting. You go to the Zoom and go to the setting, the meeting setting, and the recording. So you can see all options there. So you can enable the local recording or cloud recording. And then once the setting is good to go, and then you can just go to the Zoom again, and then you can see the record options, and then you can start recording and doing the presentation. And for more information, you can always go to support.zoom.us. It has a lot of articles that help you to do the recording if you have any questions. All right. All right, that was all about for the presentation. And right now we're gonna move to the second component, which is the abstract. So the abstract is like a written part a written part component that you need to submit, and you need to be 500 words to 800 words. So what is an abstract? So unlike like typical research, so typical research, researcher will also have abstract in the beginning of the paper. Why? Because this give the reader a broad understanding of what's going on this research. So before they start reading the entire research, it's like 10 or 20 pages, So they have abstracts there, so the reader can know. Okay, so this research is going to talk about this and that topic, and the research is going to use this and that methodology, and the research has found out this 1, 2, 3 outcomes or anything. So this gives a reader an overview, like a really short summarize. But we are not doing a typical research in this case, because in the CRC, we're doing like a creative research. So yeah, so unlike the typical research, which is like 120 words, you need to do like 500 and 800 words. So it's really important to know about what abstract you're gonna write, and what is a good and what is a bad abstract. So but for all abstracts, either traditional research or creative research, so abstract is always a short summary, or in this case not short because you're gonna do 500 words. It's a summary that sums up the entire research, the entire procedures, including sessions like methodology, literature review, data collection, sample group, data analyze, and all that. You need to put all things together into your abstract. And if possible, please also outline the contribution. So I'm gonna give an idea. So what is a bad abstract? So you don't want to have this abstract, you take this as your writing style. So a bad abstract, let's just read this. So the first sentence, in this study, I will investigate the role that local governments play in the climate governance. So first thing first, you don't want to use I statement. You don't want to use I statement because the abstract should be research based, right? So all the perspective you're gonna talk is from a research team or from the research itself, right? Rather than yourself. So you're not gonna investigate, although you're one of the research team, but you're not like personally investigated, right? So you can say in this study it will investigate, or in this study our team will investigate, but do not use I statement. So first, do not use I statement in the abstract. And I'm gonna read the second sentence. So local governance has a responsibility for a number of policy areas and all blah 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 blah. So this part tells us, the role the government plays, but it didn't explain why you're gonna talk about this, right? So okay, we know government has responsibilities for this and that, but why that matters to you, So why you gonna choose this topic? So even though you tell us one thing, local governments has responsibilities, but you didn't tell us why you're gonna research on this topic. So second part. So the first, no I statement. The second, you're gonna tell us why you're gonna choose this topic. Okay. So in this case, you didn't answer. It doesn't answer the why. And we're gonna continue reading. And the study investigates their behavior in the context of number of policy areas. This part is fine. And then the last one, EM theory is used to make sense of the result and to develop a new theories of climate change. So in this case, let's see the last part. It says to develop a new theory of climate change. So apparently that new theory is the outcome of the research, right? So you use one theory and existing data, and you come up to a new theory, and that is the outcome of the research. And you should definitely include that in your abstract. You should definitely explain okay, it's a new research and it's from us, it's, it's our outcome. So you gotta tell us. So you need to tell the reader what is the new theory and why do we have this, So and because it didn't give us information, okay, it says we develop a new theory, but you didn't tell me how did you develop it, right? So this abstract also lack of explanation of methodology and sample group and all that. You didn't also explain describe the theory, which is the outcome or key findings as well. So this is a bad abstract. So try to, in the future when you write the abstract, your abstract, you don't want to end up like this. And I'm gonna go over and tell you how to write a good abstract. So typically, you will need to address 6 questions, and each question is really important. And in order to have a good abstract, so read them and keep this in mind. So first, what's the reason of writing this thesis or research? So why do you care? You know, in the first bad abstract example, we know, government has responsibility, but the abstract didn't explain why do you care, why you choose that. So in a good abstract, you should always tell us why are you going to write this research? Why? You can say, okay, we have done literature review and we found there's a gap in this field that haven't been discovered yet. So we like to fill out the gap and have this research and present some work that has been missing in this field. That's a good reason, and that's the most common reason we have when doing research. And the second question is what the kind of we have a couple already a little bit. So what the current approach and gaps in the literature. So it's really important and it's a really good idea if you have literature ready to go. I highly recommend you do the literature review because first it will make the entire research more valid. Why? Because the literature out there they're already published, they're already peer reviewed, right? So yeah, Jay.
Yeah, sorry, Bill, I have to interrupt you here because we have some mentors waiting, and we can get back
Yeah,
to it after we set up the breakout room and that.
yeah. Could you just
Yeah,
give me 1 minute so I
yeah,
can wrap this up real quick?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, make sure you want to include the literature. And next question is, what's the research question? Where is the research question, or are the research questions? If we have more than one, you're gonna tell us the purpose of this the research. What content you're gonna add on, what content do you have, and the next you're gonna tell us the methodology. So what approach you're gonna take in terms of like data collection, what approach you're gonna have, which is the methodology. And lastly, tell us about the outcome, because all the things you have done in this research is about the findings, right? The findings, and then you're gonna tell us the outcome. We have found out 1 point, second point, third point, and these points are really important, and this point are the outcome uh, of the entire research. So please also include that as well. So in here example, a good abstract. So this abstract actually match all, include all 6 questions in here. So that what I would say is a good abstract. So keep this in mind if you're gonna do an abstract. You wanna have these 6 questions answered in the abstract, and that will be it.
I hope you all had some interaction with your mentors, and thank you all the mentors for supporting the community college researchers. We really appreciate it. I'm sure it's going to be a very valuable learning experience for them. Thank you, all the mentors. And all the mentors, you guys are free to go. And I hope at this point you already exchange your contact information with the teams so they know how to contact you and how to seek help from you. And for the teams who are still here, just a couple of final sentences. So I know some teams, their mentors are not here today. So if that's the case, we have already marked everything down. We will reach out to a mentor who signed up for your team but are not here, we'll reach out to them to find out why, and then we will give you a contact information, whether it's your original mentor or it's going to be someone else or Bill, right? So we'll make that arrangement and let you know by Monday. So you will for sure know your mentor by Monday, right? So again, congrats again, and let me just re-emphasize a couple of things for our second round. Right. So first, two deliverables. One is a 5 to 8 minutes presentation with all the components you just covered in details. Second, abstract. 500 to 800. Basically, you expand on the points you cover in your presentation. And then here's what's going to happen after the second round. All the abstract you guys submit will be included in the community college student research journal we will put together after this event, right? So we'll send you, every one of you, a copy, a digital copy of that. Right? So it's going to be a journal, right? And then the other thing is we will select 5 to 8 teams or 5 to 7 teams to enter the final round, which we also call community college student research forum, right? So that day you will do the live presentation, and the presentation will be 12 minutes. And then we will have the judges there. All the judges are from Berkeley, Stanford, Columbia. So we have the director of Office of Undergraduate Research from Berkeley there. We have the director of Community College Research Center at the Columbia University there. We also have the director of Institution of Research in Social Science from Stanford there, as well as some other directors from the research institutions. Right? So all of them will be there live, listen to your presentation. Right? So, and then don't consider it as a competition. It's just going to be a showcase of what you've done with your mentor during that time. Right? So that's going to happen on May the 7th. 5 to 7 teams will actually move on to that round. But all of you guys' abstract will be included in that journal. Right? Does anyone have any question? Now is the time to bring it up.
Hi, so I have a question about if the slides are going to be available somewhere, so that way we can refer back to them.
Yes, we will. Yes, we'll send it out to you after this meeting.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
So I'm wondering about the recording that we're sending you. I know you can do something with Zoom where you kind of like have your face recorded at the top and then you have your presentation. Is that kind of what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay. And then with the final round, if we have a chance to present, will we kind of have a chance to maybe get something after that with any of the panelists?
Yes. So here's what we're going to do. Yeah, I have some echoes. But when we reach out to the panelists or the advisors or judges, we let them know that, so if some students want to take their research a further step, they have the chance to reach out to them and seek help from them as well. So we will actually give you all the contact information of these people, and then you can reach out after this forum or the final round.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I know it's really hard to find research in community college, so I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your research. Look forward to seeing what you can have for the second round. Yep. For the detailed instructions or logistic question, we'll send out some instructions to the email as well. So no worries on that. So how to submit your video, whether we want it in the link or whether we want it in the file format, we will send you that information as well. Any other questions? All right, so Jasmine or Nora, I think we have a Discord group for this, for all the second round researchers. Is that the case? Or Handy? who have the answer to that question?
Yeah, we do. We do have. We're gonna create a private channel within the CRC Discord server for second round, for first round winners, and we're gonna be adding you all into that group chat as soon
Yeah.
as possible.
Yeah, so if you guys are not currently in the Discord group, please do so. You can find the link or the QR code on our website, collegelead.cc/crc. You can find the Discord group link there. So that's a way for us to keep to inform you guys the latest information. All right. So if no more questions, I think that'll be all for this info session. Unless Jasmine or Handy or Nora, you guys have anything to say or share? No? Okay, cool. Bill, do you have any other things you want to say?
No, I think that'll be it.
All right. Then everybody look forward to your research video and abstract in about a month, right? So in a month, we'll look forward to that. And if at any point you have difficulty contacting your mentor, which is possible, so I just want to let you guys know, although we talk to the mentors and they agree to help, sometimes things comes up, especially during the COVID period. So if you ever have difficulty contacting your mentor, let us know, right? So we will try to rearrange or make some accommodations, right? And that would probably happen, right? Just to let you guys know up front. Any other questions? No? All right, that'll be it. Actually, the organizing team, do you guys mind staying a little bit longer after this? And all the participants, you guys are free to leave